of their tournament with a successful start, and Colossa has won the coin toss, but also has decided to go second, which might already be a little bit of a giveaway on what she would be playing.
Oh, Fire King Courtier Ulcanix is being normal summoned, and now we're waiting for a possible response of Colossa. I don't think that's going to be the case. This might resolve, and we're destroying a Kirin.
The camera not only zoomed in there on Colossa, but also she seems pretty locked in right now in the situation. But for the moment, not really doing anything. And it's interesting, like going second, I think it's not a very big giveaway saying that she probably is going to be on Tenpai. And the Tenpai Dragon strategy, it has developed a little bit in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. As in the beginning, people usually try to go for a lot of hand interactions, try to go for Effect Veilers, Ash Blossoms, and all those kind of things, infinite impermanences. But instead, very recently, perfectly fitting to our jackets here as well, the Sky Striker cards actually have been included in most of the Tenpai Dragon decks, and I think Colossa might also be on those Sky Striker cards.
I mean, when she selected going second, I immediately thought of Numeron Sky Striker as the going second.
Thanks for mentioning it, yeah.
But of course, Tenpai might be the strongest going second strategy that we've ever had in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! And now you're seeing Josh just playing with the Fire King cards here. Garunix is activated, Ulcanix is activated. The question is, at some point, will he bridge into the Snake Eye strategy, which also has been incredibly popular over the last year in Master Duel?
That is true, but usually it is the other way around, isn't it? Usually you're trying to go from your Snake Eye cards into your Fire King cards.
The original Sinful Spoils.
Exactly, but so the other way around, I'm trying to figure out how you would even do that, right? I mean, I guess just a normal... Wait, we did normal summon the Fire King High Courtier Ulcanix, therefore... I don't really think we're going to see anything out of the Snake Eye cards. Still, though, as we can clearly see here, we have already produced quite a few monsters, and this could be Zombie Vampire, maybe?
Yeah, this is how we bridge, quote-unquote, maybe, because you have a chance of getting to your Snake Eye cards here. You just need to get them into the graveyard, and then, oh, there is a Poplar hit. What did we see on the side of Colossa? Because the Tenpai deck can also...
Can have a look here. Let's see for Josh first. We are seeing, as you said, the Poplar, which is immediately coming to the field.
Strong.
Also, we see there is Azamina cards in there with Deception of the Sinful Sports. But also in the graveyard of Colossa, we see a main deck Dimensional Barrier.
That's wild.
And the Pydra and an Afterburner.
I like that. I like the main deck Dimensional Barrier because in the Sky Striker package, you usually run triple Tactics Thrust. And in this format, if your opponent elects to let you go first, then you're probably going to be faced with some sort of hand interaction, and you can thrust into your barrier if you are certain that your opponent is going to be on the Tenpai strategy as well. Not happening this game, though. I think Colossa is quite happy that the Dimensional Barrier was not the top deck for the next turn. And she also got at least one spell into the graveyard so that the Sky Striker Mobilize Engage is a little bit better. And we didn't lose our Widow Anchor from the deck as well, because I think those might be the only targets, maybe with the Hornet Drones.
Yeah, Hornet Drones definitely as well, because Hornet Drones go into Kagari and then summon out another monster into the Hita. Oftentimes can be your way to get to your Tenpai cards, of course, as well, when just attacking into a monster, searching out the Genroku, and then trying to go into things. But for the moment, it's all Josh. It's all Joshua Schmidt with his first Invitational appearance here on the 3-year anniversary Invitational. And he's, of course, immediately hungry for a title.
Yep. He is going in here. He's not stopping from anything. He's going to summon out Promethean Princess, the Bestower of Flames, and this monster is very well known for summoning monsters back from the graveyard. We're going to get the Arvata out, so are now more protected from hand interactions than we were before. Now we can go for a Link 4 or a Link 2, a Sunlight Wolf, because a Link 4 might not be in Josh's deck because you can only summon fire monsters when the Promethean Princess is on the field. And now we activate Original Sinful Spoils, or also known OSS, Snake Eyes.
I'm pretty sure we play Whale in the extra deck, so we could have gone for that. But I mean, what are fire cards here to add back? Kirin is, of course, like a prime target to get back from the graveyard here, as that is providing you additional interruption with your opponent, and it's like that unpredictable card as well from the hand. Now, it is somewhat predictable as it is in the hand now, and it is known, but still you don't know, as it is a quick effect in the opponent's main phase, when Josh is going to do that. So whatever Colossa is trying to do, still Josh has that last resort in hand of just being able to then destroy the last fire monster remaining on the field and getting all the Fire King effects in the graveyard again through that.
I mean, just because the card is known doesn't mean that it's not going to be incredibly useful for Josh.
When there is the Diabels of a Black Witch as well. So honestly,
big question here.
We gotta say Colossa probably, Colossa quite happy that she didn't have any effect veilers or infinite impermanences or anything like that, because Josh's hand, it was all engine. He just had all the cards to play through any kind of interruption, and therefore it's probably good if Colossa rather has cards like Lightning Storm and stuff like that. Okay, we got the Hollowed Azamina in hand already.
Azamina is already there. It was quite nice to see that this is information for other players of the tournament, that there is multiple deceptions in the deck of Josh, because the first one was milled by the Zombie Vampire.
I mean, it's such an incredibly strong card, of course.
Point. You can bridge into everything, basically, with it.
We searched wanted the Seeker of Sinful Spoils, and now the interaction that is so common. Oh, wait, we did not even go into Flamberge yet. I mean, look at how many things we have already created, and it's now only time to go into Snake Eyes, Flamberge, Dragon, and that usually means in the process of Link summoning, we're going to get more and more monsters onto the field. Is that already the moment we want to go for Appaloosa? Possibly,
I think at first we want to use Flamberge to put IP back into the Spell and Trap zone.
Very true, very true. Okay, and I mean, before that, we can even bring out the Ilya Sylvia.
Yep, another interaction here. So I think if you want to put the IP Masquerade into your Spell and Trap zone, you can't really go to Link off the Flamberge now, because then it would just go lost there. So maybe you can go for a Celine line.
Ilya Sylvia here. You gotta, you have to keep the Snake Eye Flamberge Dragon on the field, but you didn't even use the graveyard effect of it yet, right? So
nope, that's true.
It's going to be interesting.
I mean, how much do 2 level 1 bodies do for you in this situation anymore? You have plenty of resources, almost all the resources that your deck can give you, and if you're playing the Celine line, I think you can go into it with a Black Witch and Sunlight Wolf, but we choose to not go for an Appaloosa here, which is atypical for the Snake Eye deck, but it's still, like, this is a field that is very hard to break.
It is indeed, and that is what Josh is going to end on. He could, without thinking about it a second time, just shuffle back Deception of the Sinful Spoils with Wanted as we send another one to the graveyard through Zombie Vampire, getting a free card in the process, and now in the end phase also getting back Deception. But how many of those cards on the field will stay there with Colossa? With the decision of going second, of course, having a strong deck, very, very likely in her arsenal here.
Yep. She has 6 cards in hand. If one of those, or maybe 2 of those, are 10-pie cards, and that is like maybe a Pydra plus a Sangan Kaiman or a Sangan Summoning, those cards could come in useful with 4 cards that break the field. That would be very, very strong. Fun thing with the Sunlight Wolf on the end field, if you have something like an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring in your graveyard milled through Zombie Vampire, you can add that back on the opposing turn as well. Not the case this time around. We add the Fire King High Avatar Runings to our hand.
Yeah, worst case, but it's a card you can destroy from your hand with the Kirin, so I think that's pretty smart, having that extra chance in there. But now Colossa, thinking about it, you can tell, trying to figure out what the first card would be to activate here. And the thing is, one of the... Okay, that is my favorite card of all time, and it's definitely a card to start off a game with.
Yeah, but the thing is, Josh only milled 1 spell card with the activation of Zombie Vampire. This could have been so much better for Colossa if she just milled multiple spell cards there. We have 2 in the graveyard now, so Sky Striker Mecha Hornet Jones is not going to summon out a token with 1500 attack and defense, which is very, very rarely super relevant.
That's true. Okay, we bring out the token. So honestly, that is a little bit concerning in the way that we can kind of rule out Lightning Storm already, which would have been a real, real good answer to that. Another thing I have to mention, one of the most prolific cards against big fields in the 10 by Dragon strategy is Forbidden Droplet. And Ilya Sylvia, just by nature, if they don't send a monster, and there's not that many monster cards in a 10 by deck, sometimes it's a problem because it can distribute itself off the field. Oh, look at that. Josh is just going into an Appaloosa here on the opponent's turn by the looks of it. There it is.
And that is an Appaloosa with 4 monsters here. We can summon out the Diabels to the Black Witch again by sending something to the graveyard. And of course, Flamberge is going to activate.
Wow.
So endless resources are being gained by Josh.
Another very important point with the Flamberge Dragon, we do get level 1 monsters with Linkorebos sitting in the graveyard. So making opponent's monsters 0 attack against a Tempai Dragon strategy, and also as a way to protect your Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess on the field, that is truly great. But one thing I will have to mention, now of course we have activated monster effects in the main phase, meaning Josh is playing into triple Tactic Talons territory.
I'm gonna be honest, I thought that Josh was just going to summon out an SP Little Knight to banish the token, but the token is still there on the field. So that is still something that Colossa might be able to use at some point. Also something very notable here for Josh is that the deck that he's running can play one of the newest cards in Master Duel, which is Dominus Impulse.
True.
Also a card that is very, very strong versus the Tenpai strategy, because you can just activate Dominus Impulse from hand and negate a Sanguine Kaiman in the battle phase.
Oh, that's very true. Just released yesterday. And of course, the duelists had the chance to include those new cards into their invitational decks. Sky Striker Ace Kagari is going to be used here to add that. Yeah. It's trying to, but Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess says, whatever you're trying to add back there, it is going to stay in the graveyard.
Maybe a droplet, because we have Kagari on the field now. With a token, you couldn't send for the Forbidden Droplet, because you can't send a token to the grave, technically. But now you could activate Droplet, send Kagari, and maybe a spell card from your hand to the graveyard.
That feels like an... I mean, also, of course, Widow Anchor could be a card chained here, but nope. It is going to just resolve. Appaloosa stops Sky Striker Ace Kagari from adding that card back to the hand. But what else, Colossa? Is there a Tenpai card coming next? We need something to stop Ilya Sylvia and Appaloosa, because just with Tenpai cards, it's going to be a real tough time getting through those, honestly.
Look at this field that Josh set up. This is
hold on.
A good start. Maybe if Ilya Silva tributes, you can activate Called by the Grave. That could be absolutely phenomenal. But the Appaloosa was summoned by IP Masquerena, so you can't destroy it via card effects.
There is Forbidden Droplet next now, okay. So we'll not be able to negate the Ilya Sylvia, but we can at least negate the Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess here.
Yep, and of course the Arvata is also on the field. So that is also something you might want to negate.
Those were 2 cards, so probably exactly those 2 you were mentioning.
You can negate the Oak as well. It's just a question of how much that does. But yeah, I mean, look at Josh. There's 5 cards in hand, 3 set cards. One of those is Deception that we know of. 4 monsters on the field. There is still the Kirin interaction. Ulcanix is also in hand. Or not Ulcanix, but Garunix.
Yes.
And Garunix in the graveyard. Okay, Colossa proceeds to normal summon Genroku.
Tempai Dragon Genroku. Good thing about that one is it's kind of good into like Effect Veiler and Infinite Impermanences, because it can just always chain itself to that. But still then, without a field spell, whatever you summon out next then can again be hit by those. But we can at least play around the Effect Veiler by going to the battle phase first. So let's see, is it going to be the battle phase that Colossa has to go into here?
But the Kirin is only in main phase, right?
Kirin indeed is only in main phase.
So that means if Colossa wants to proceed to battle phase, Josh is going to be forced to activate the Fire King High Avatar Kirin. This card has a crazy effect when it gets destroyed itself, and that is to destroy a card on the field without targeting it. So this is a perfect counter to Genroku. You might say, okay, you just summoned this from hand, but now you can activate the Garunix from the graveyard and then destroy a Kirin from the deck to get rid of the Genroku. And if Genroku is chained to it, you just destroy the card that comes out of Genroku's special summoning effect.
Let's see whether that's going to be applied. We bring back the Kirin here, but it is negated.
We also have Sanctuary on the field. And do you know what that means?
I was just wondering, Kirin is semi-limited, so we can't even destroy Kirin here from the deck. But you said it, maybe with the Sanctuary
we can destroy it from the field,
summoning. There you go. And as you just explained, chaining Tempai Dragon Genroku here doesn't accomplish anything, as then the moment the monster is summoned out from the deck, it immediately gets destroyed by the Kirin, so it can't even activate. No Pydra could activate, no Fadra could activate, no nothing. We're still chaining it, but I think we will have to realize that the monster coming out of this is not going to give us great value at all.
Yep, you could try to summon out a Hydra. Maybe the Kirin is going to destroy the Kagari and then you get to search something, but I doubt it. This is looking grim for Colossa in the first round, playing against the previous Master Duel World Champion. Josh is putting up an impressive field, 4 cards in hand, 4 in the Spell and Trap Zone, a field spell, 5 monsters in the main monster zone, and a Link 4 in the extra monster zone. I don't think this. Oh, we activate second
hold
Kaiman.
on.
Is this the time for Dominus Impulse? Is this the time to shine for the newly released trap card?
Sangen Kaiman in the battle phase. Good last card to have in the hands. Surely one that can turn things around.
Yeah.
But can it turn things around enough against that kind of a field still? Because Appaloosa still sitting there. Link Kuriboh in the graveyard waiting to protect it as well. So what kind of Tenpai card are you even going to bring out here?
I mean, Appaloosa is negated, right?
Oh, Drew, you're so right.
Yeah.
Very much.
That is not going to help Josh anymore.
But the Avatar is no longer negated though, right?
No, the Avatar was just recycled, which is very, very strong here. And we're adding Chandra. And now Chandra is being special summoned to the field by the effect of Sangen Kaiman. When it's activated in the battle phase, you can activate both effects, which are Search for a Drink. Oh, and we also have the
We
Prometheus
did not
Princess,
even mention it, right? We talked about all the different layers of interruption that Josh has created, and we almost forgot about the Promethean Princess, which was already extending his own combo so much, but now also on the opponent's turn is providing him that extra bit of interruption to deal with that last Tenpai Dragon monster that was summoned there.
And I mean, it's very smart by him not to reveal any more cards from his deck there. Not showing anyone else information in this tournament, just saying, hey, you guys already knew that I have the Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames in the graveyard, so I might as well just use that one. Activates the effect to summon out a monster, and this is looking like a lot of damage. Yep, Snake Eyes Flamberge Dragon.
That definitely helps on top of things. Oh, we can just put that Sky Striker Ace Kagari into the Spell and Trap Zone, and there it doesn't help much defending anymore. Look at all those attack points, and the battle phase is where those are being put to work the best. Attacking with the Black Witch. Who's next up? The Promethean Princess?
Oh, are we going to attack with the Flamberge as well? For game not even using the Fire King cards. See, look at all those chickens not attacking because we already have enough damage for game here. Josh wins this. Colossa choose to